guys, so as you can see, we're doing something a little bit different today. I decided that I wanted to switch it up and do something different. So I'm going to let you guys know this is going to be a long video, so strap in, but I definitely urge you to finish the video because it's going to be full of education. Okay, so I got a specific comment, right? I got a comment that somebody left because they were just so offended about something that I said, and we'll get into it in a moment. And that's why it kind of inspired me to do this video. Now, this is going to be on MLMs, multi-level marketing, things like that, and I'm gonna kind of dissect this little hate comment. I'm not even gonna call it a hate comment. I'm just gonna dissect this comment that this person decided to leave and go over, you know, because I feel like sometimes people get this thing where they can just say whatever they want and no one's gonna say anything to them. As much as I wanted to be petty and as much as I wanted to go in, I'm deciding to do a very educated, classy way to rebuttal the comment that was left. Now, mind you, I'm not gonna do this on every comment. I don't really care the comments that I get. I don't feel like explaining myself in every single comment. I just put my energy into the comments that love me because I love y'all back. So this is just one comment that stood out to me because a lot of people ask me about Monat or Monet or whatever the thing is called. A lot of people ask me about that, and it kind of frustrates me because without getting a background knowledge on MLMs, you won't understand why I'm strongly against people using Monat, okay? So first, this is going to give you like a background on what I'm talking about, the whole MLM thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm gonna go into a second part of this video discussing Monat, okay? So just to kind of give you a slight overview of what to expect in this video, because you don't understand, like I got this comment like not that long ago, but a minute ago, and the amount of research and the rabbit hole that I went into in just researching and discussing everything, which makes me laugh because the more research I did, the dumber this comment sounded. So let's get into it, okay? Let's get into it. So I do have my computer here because I'm going to be reading the comment section for section to kind of debunk, because it's a long comment, to debunk what it is that she keeps saying. So this is kind of my reaction, my commentary to this. So let's get started, okay? I got my notebook here. I have pages of notes because I'm not playing. Like, if you're gonna tell me to educate myself, honey, I did just that, okay? So let's get started. Where this all came from, I made a video about apprenticing, a crazy client, my apprenticing year or whatever. And I had made a comment about the lady calling herself a business owner. And I had said like, oh, she probably sells Avon and she's, you know, one of those MLM schemes. This lady is going on and on how she's a business owner. She's a business owner and that she's going to Texas like in 2 months because there's like some thing, because she sells like Avon or something. No shade if you sell Avon. Does Avon still exist? I don't know. It was some MLM scheme, okay? That's what she was selling. This lady got so upset.
I'm a business owner. Yeah, I am a business owner.
And then the lady was like trying to say something about like, oh yeah, I think I've been to that. And she's like,
no, this is exclusive. It's invite only.
And I'm like, ma'am, anybody can join your little scheme. Like, it's not that exclusive, but whatever. So I guess that struck a nerve with somebody, and this is where that comment came from. So let's get into it. Girls need to get educated on MLM and other similar financial companies. No, I'm not in MLM, but I know my facts and I'm educated on it. Do you think these companies would have been shut down and the founders would have been in jail by now if it was a scheme? Okay, so if you don't know what an MLM is, it is a multi-level marketing business. It's kind of just like a structure of how businesses can, you know, multi-level market. It's also under the whole umbrella of network marketing. This can be Avon, Mary Kay, Monat, Herbalife. That's what it is. So just to give a textbook definition, an MLM is a business structure or practice in which an individual seller earns commission both from direct sales and from the sales of their sellers' recruits, and of those that recruit by the sellers' recruit, and so on. Okay, so let's get a little backstory on where MLM started. And I love educating myself, okay?
But it wasn't until 1949, when the young entrepreneurs were introduced to Neutralite products and the direct selling approach, that they would discover the unique business model that would lead them to their destiny. In 1959, Rich and Jay formed their own company, Amway, which paved the way for its distributors, called Amway business owners, to achieve financial success and personal freedom through a business of their own, built on a unique sales and marketing plan.
From Amway is probably the most famous MLM company because it was one of the first companies that was recorded. It said it was the first, but you never know. It's been documented that Amway was the one that set the tone for MLMs, okay? So now that we educated ourselves on MLMs, okay? So she says, don't you think these companies would have been shut down and the founders would have been in jail by now if it was a scheme, or are the cops that slow? Okay, well, they have been accused of being a scheme. They went to court for it. Actually, Amway decided to settle in November of 2010 on a $150 million lawsuit because they were accused of being a scam. Okay, as far as are the cops being that slow, I'm sure this lovely lady is very worried about educating others and getting the word out about MLMs not being a scheme, that she kind of overlooks the actual responsibilities of law enforcement and how law enforcement and cops specifically handle fraud cases. Cops just arrest people. They're not the ones that take down pyramid schemes. That's class action lawsuits, that's courtrooms, that's judges. So usually that's handled in paperwork and going to court appearances. But go off. Let's continue. She says, Steve Harvey and other billionaires speak on these companies and how they were involved and how it is the best way to become wealthy and learn finances and gain knowledge. Her referencing a celebrity is just comical to me, just because what did you want us to do with that information? Celebrity scam. There have been plenty of celebrities that go down for fraud. Are we just supposed to, take their word because they're a celebrity? That's kind of just an ignorant statement. But because she brought it up, I did do my research, I did that. And I decided to look into what Steve Harvey, like what MLM or what kind of network marketing Steve Harvey promoted or something like that. And when I tell you I scoured the internet, I went in, okay? And come to find out,
probably 2021, I was in Amway at the time, which, by the way, is a great corporation for positive thinking. I learned a lot about positive thinking from the Amway Corporation. I really did. I'm not a spokesperson for them in it. I just read the first positive mental attitude book.
Steve Harvey promotes having multiple streams of income. Yes, he does. He talks about that in a lot of his motivational speeches, a lot of speeches to his audience. I watched one of his interviews and he was just saying that you need to have multiple streams of income just in case something happens to one of them, you have plenty to fall back on. So I'm not sure if that's what she's referring to. He lightly alludes to the fact that he was affiliated with Amway. There wasn't an actual promotion that I found of Steve Harvey. But once again, Amway has been proven to be non-credible and has been accused of fraud. And I forgot to mention that one of the CEOs in the international satellites of Amway in India did get arrested for fraud. So as far as the slow cops are concerned, the cops were involved. Okay. Now she goes on to say, do your research before you call it a scheme. So once again, that's exactly what I did, right? That's exactly what we're doing. So I looked up the definition of a scheme. A scheme is a large-scale systematic plan or arrangement for attaining some particular object or putting a particular idea into effect. A clever marketing scheme. Another definition is to make plans, especially in a devious way or with intent to do something illegal or wrong. He schemed to bring about the collapse of the government. Do your research before you call it a scheme. Fraud, scheme, kind of go hand in hand. You're right. Maybe I didn't use the right terminology. I should have called it a fraudulent business act. But there you have it. She goes on to say, Elsie Gravaro is currently involved in Primerica. You think she's out here scamming people? Look up what company produces the six-figure earners. Look up Pri on the New York stocks if you know what that is. Okay, so once again, referencing influencers and or celebrities to validate, you know, things. Now, I did look up Elsie. I found out that she's an influencer. She makes YouTube videos as well. I have yet to see any of her promotions for Primerica, but I didn't see anything like as far as like her being affiliated with Primerica. I was looking everywhere, looking at her posts. I couldn't find any videos or anything affiliating her with Primerica, but I'm just gonna take this lady's word for it because she seems to know what she's talking about. So when I did look up Primerica just to see, you know, what this girl was promoting, it's an insurance company. Now, I live in America, and one of the biggest problems that Americans have is insurance companies. Why? Because we pay health insurance, we pay dental insurance, all these insurances, car insurance, and yet what happens? A lot of them we pay and nothing happens. That's one of the biggest problems in America. So of course your claim to fame would be Primerica because they're one of the top leaders in the New York stock. Of course they are, because they're insurance, and everybody has to have insurance in America. So I'm not exactly sure what she was going for with that. It's another recruitment kind of it's another recruitment insurance company where you can work from home, where you can do all that kind of stuff. Like, insurances are the biggest scam in America, if you ask my opinion on it. Hello, we all pay health insurance, and yet some way, somehow, when we leave a hospital, we still have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars. So I mean, I guess that one we can go back and forth on whether or not Primerica is a scam, because it is an insurance company, but insurance companies are known to, you know, just take your money. So, but continue to go off, sis. You are killing it right now. Look up Pri on the New York stocks if you know what that is, girl. Look up MLM, because you obviously don't know what that is. I used to like your videos, but this just turned me off that you're so uneducated on it, which is fine. But then you go on to talk smack on this lady because she owns a franchise in whatever company she was in. So yes, she's a business owner. Just like you can franchise a McDonald's or Starbucks, you can own a franchise in financial companies. I've said this in one of my unpopular opinions video. I hate to break it to you. This is the one thing that really sets me off about MLMs. It's because they always feed you this false representation on what a CEO is, what a business owner is, what an entrepreneur is, okay? And people that follow these MLMs and just like people in general that like really honestly believe that, have a really misguided representation on what a business owner is. So let's just go in with the definition because I really don't like to misspeak, okay? So apparently, when I was Googling all this stuff, business owner is not a definition. Like, what? So I had to like kind of find a bootleg definition of business owner, but we're just gonna use this in reference to this because it's gonna make sense. So I looked up the word business owner, and it's in the businessdictionary.com, by the way. It says individual or entity who owns a business entity in an attempt to profit from the successful operations of the company, generally has decision-making abilities and first right to profit. Okay. So going back to what this woman said. So yes, she's a business owner, just like you can franchise a McDonald's or Starbucks. So business owner, we went to that, all right? It's an individual or entity who owns a business entity in an attempt to profit from the successful operations of a company, generally has decision-making abilities and first right to profit, okay? That's a business owner, like she says. What is a franchise? An authorization granted by a government or company to an individual or group, enabling them to carry out specified commercial activities, providing a broadcasting service, or acting as an agent for the company's products. So either you're a business owner or you franchise. Business owner, franchise. So now that we know the definition of both, okay, I can franchise all the McDonald's on every single street corner that I live in. I don't own McDonald's. I don't change the menu of McDonald's. I can't add something to McDonald's. I can't take away something from McDonald's. If I don't like their chicken nuggets anymore, I can't cut them from the menu. If I want to, change McDonald's into McRonald, I can't do that. Why? Because I only own a franchise. So yes, you own a franchise, but you are not the business owner. Like these MLMs love to say, you're your CEO, you're the owner of the company. No, you're not. You do not make any executive decision on what happens to the company. You sell their products, they make their profit. Okay, girl. This disgusts me. Calling out people and their schemes that you're uneducated on. What is a scheme to you? I literally just said what a scheme was to me. So if this disgusts you and calling people out on their schemes, if you're disgusted, girl, then you're disgusted. I don't know what you want me to tell you. So this is me educating myself on what an MLM is and why I shouldn't just be out here calling them a scheme because Steve Harvey said that it's not, okay? So the next time a celebrity endorses something and promotes something to the public, just know that you should be educated on it and let them know that if Steve Harvey is promoting it, it can't be a scheme because he's not arrested. So why would it be a scheme? By the way, just all that. I hate to be that person, but if you're just gonna like go off on me, I'm sure billionaires proofread their comments before they decide to put them out there. But what do I know? I'm just a poor person. Anyway, so now this goes into what I want to talk about. Now, going in on MLMs is kind of just like one of those things that I've had very bad experiences with people, scamming me. I firsthand have experienced people trying to scam me into MLMs, trying to like take advantage of me and, do that whole thing. I have stories upon stories on why I don't believe in MLMs and multi-level marketing. Lawsuits should be enough to, you know, put that out there, but you know, whatever. Some people want to continue to do it, so cool. Where this involves me, right? I don't care if you want to sell, you know, supplements and all this other stuff. Like, do your thing, make your money however it is that you want to make it. If you lose it in the end, it's not my problem. However, now it transfers into hair care and why I feel like I want to speak on it as a professional hairstylist. Now, I've seen plenty of MLMs come in and out. The companies just go in, out, blah, 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 blah. Now, one thing that I had experienced firsthand, I don't believe it was an MLM. I'm not exactly sure, but when came out, it was more of like an infomercial kind of thing. You do the monthly subscription. When was just like the biggest thing ever. It was just so amazing. And as you guys saw, it just went into a mess because it started making people's hair fall out and things like that. I'm very weary of promoting stuff that come from subscriptions, recruitment agencies, things like that, just because it's an old saying, like, when you're good at everything, you're not a master at one. But when you have a company that's selling you skincare, hair care, vitamins, like things like that, for me, that's just a really big red sign, because I just don't feel like if you're shooting out so many products like that, like I just don't, for me personally, I just don't see it as credible, just on my own perspective. Now, let's talk about Monat. Monet. Who cares? So technically it's supposed to be like the brand is modern and natural, so Monat. So I'm just gonna call it Monat. So if I said it wrong or whatever, I don't really care. So I remember when Monat first kind of came into the scene, it was already like blackballed within like the hair company, just because it was one of those hair companies that were MLMs or whatever. But one thing about it was, very quickly it was known to make your hair smoke when you tried to bleach it, okay? So that was one of the biggest things that I saw on so many professional forums, like all these Facebook groups and everything like that. You would just see like, hey, have you seen my client? Like, hey, has anybody had a client that uses Monat? Like this happened, they started smoking. There was just a lot of talk with that. So it kind of got blackballed pretty early within like the professional scene. A lot of people were telling their clients, like, don't try that, don't use that, it leaves a residue on your hair. And the problem with that residue is that once you have that in your hair, it stays on it. So that sealant that it leaves on your hair alters the effects of how your color will turn out, alters how your bleach will come out, and a lot of times it would start to smoke. So it pretty much got blackballed in that aspect. So what is Monat? It is a naturally based healthy aging hair care, skincare, and wellness product line with an unrivaled business opportunity and a culture of family and gratitude. Now, as most of you guys know, MLMs tend to always promise that you can work anywhere, work from home, work from your house, whatever. That's their favorite thing to tell people. So, you know, of course, they have to throw in the business opportunity and the culture of family and gratitude, because you can have this amazing lifestyle and this business opportunity while also being able to just be at home, be with your kids, be on vacation. So amazing. So like I said, I went into a deep dive of Monat. Like, I went on their website, I went on their YouTube, I watched their coaching classes, I've watched everything I think that I need to on Monat, and I'm so over it. Because to me, it just screams scam, okay? So one of the main things that they tell their, you know, recruiters, or what is it? Yeah, recruitment people. The people that they recruit, the main thing that they tell them is, you know, you need to be ready for rejection, and people are going to try to ignore you, and people are trying to, you know, tell you one thing, but the only thing you have to do is keep your confidence, and, you know, it'll come. The product sells itself. No, it doesn't. I am Aveda certified, right? So I went to the Aveda Institute and I had to learn everything about Aveda and all this other stuff. So when I hear naturally derived, Aveda as a company cannot say that it's 100% natural because they have to alter ingredients, right? So it's 98% naturally derived. It may have gone up, but legally they cannot say that they are 100% natural, okay? So knowing that kind of background and knowing the legalities of calling your company natural, you have to go through a lot of classifications for that, right? So one of the things that Monat likes to say is that they are natural, you know, the natural based healthy beauty, blah, blah, blah. One of their claims to fame is the CAPB. That's one of the main ingredients that they like to shoot at you, and they like to tell people to advertise and blah, blah, blah. So looking it up, it's coconut oil. And if you've seen my hair videos, you already know how I feel about coconut oil. Coconut oil is not small enough to penetrate your cuticle. It'll only sit on the top of your hair shaft. So coconut oil is not the most amazing for your hair. It doesn't have any reconstructive properties. It only has temporary sealant, you know, benefits, right? So what they do is they use this coconut-based oil to replace sulfates. However, if you go into it, right, you're just altering coconut oil, a natural-based product. You're altering it with other chemicals to make it natural, but if you altered it, it's not natural. So if you really think about it, if you really break it down, if you're all natural, you would just put coconut oil, not an altered version of coconut oil. But it's their way of how, like, other like companies say it's sugar-free, but they use Splenda. You know what I'm saying? So it goes in and it does all that. This is what really bothers me about these companies, is that they make really, really far-fetched claims, and they say like, oh, it's gonna make your hair thicker, it's gonna make your hair this, it's gonna make your hair that. Now, one thing that really bothered me was when I saw that they claimed that it cured alopecia, or it helped with alopecia. I just think it's kind of like common sense as to why a shampoo or conditioner or oil can't help with alopecia. Alopecia is something that comes from within. It is a condition that comes from your insides. Your hair is dead, okay? In case you didn't know, your hair is dead. So what's coming out of your hair is just, it's dead. Your hair is not a living organism in your body, okay? It's dead once it comes out of your scalp, okay? So if I don't have any hair, there's no amount of product that I can use to put that on, like, to make my hair grow. Just like bald men, there's not a shampoo that you can use to make yourself not bald. If you don't have hair, or you don't have like the follicle and the vitamins and the cells to create hair, you can't put that on there. Like, that, to me, that's just like, it just screams like, what? If you have alopecia, that's an internal issue within your body. You can't just put whatever. Okay, it's not topical. You can't just put something in your hair that's gonna make you grow hair, especially just like something as serious as alopecia. Like, girl, what? Now, another issue that I have is when people started recording that their hair was falling out, because in 2018 they started a class action lawsuit against Monat. Okay, so in 2018 they first started seeing the class action lawsuit in San Diego, where people were complaining that their hair was falling out, and I'll get into the other allegations, but their hair was falling out. And what people were saying, their consultants were telling them, was that's a detox. That is your hair detoxing. Once again, your hair is dead, okay? Something dead cannot detox itself. Your hair does not detox. You either clean your hair, you clean your scalp, you can do things to your scalp, but your hair does not detox. That, to me, that is just insane that you would tell somebody that your hair detoxes. And that's another reason why I can't stand these multi-level marketing brands, because the people that are selling them have no idea about what it is that they're talking about. You're not a professional. You're just telling. It's the blind leading the blind. I'm not a cosmetologist. I've never known anything about hair, because one of the main things that they teach you, it's so annoying and such a long process, but we have to learn about the skin, because a scalp is a part of your skin. Hair comes out of your scalp, so we have to know that. We have to know how people react to certain things. If you didn't get that level of education and you didn't get that training, how would you know that? So to tell somebody, it just sounds like somebody who doesn't know anything about hair is telling you something stupid about hair, because your hair cannot detox itself. That is a hair detox, girl. Oh my God. So yeah, that was one of the class action lawsuits that came out. People were complaining about scalp sores, their hair was falling out, all that kind of stuff. Now, why it goes into the back and forth between just a terrible hair product and just like the whole MLM thing, was not only were people telling them that it's a detox, but they also couldn't get a refund on their money because they couldn't get in contact with their people. So it's just like things like that. Like it's so many articles, so many issues, so many things going on with Monat, and people still want to sell it and still want to promote it. And it's like, okay, so fine, don't watch the news. Go on Facebook. Go on Facebook. Everybody's tried and true thing. Go on Facebook, look up Monat. Girl. Another issue with Monat and its naturally derived products is the red clover leaf oil. Now, once again, just to get a little scientific there, red clover leaf oil is an allergen, okay? So basically, the effects of using that also increases the effects of estrogen in your hair or in your scalp. So that causes a lot. Too much of one thing is a bad thing. That's why I hate keratin. I hate keratin treatments. I hate keratin because it's too much. So if you're putting something on your scalp that is producing something that you're possibly allergic to, or which is a common allergen, by the way, it's not like, a rare allergen. It's a common allergen that people have. On top of that, it is, heightening the effects of estrogen in your scalp. That's an issue. That's what's causing your hair to fall out. So my final thoughts on Monat is just don't use it. I don't recommend anybody to use it. Now that I went on this deep dive and this research paper that I decided to do on Monat and just MLMs in general, there are plenty of channels. I was binge watching Kiki Chanel because she really goes into more of like other MLMs and like the effects of falling for MLMs and the people that do that. Like, honestly, like if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And if you want to be, a judgmental, bougie person, if they're selling, because Monat sells hair care, skin care, dogs, stuff like, oh my God, can you imagine putting this stuff on your dog? I'd die. Like, no, it's not okay. So that's the conclusion to my video. I hope this helped somebody. I hope this kind of gave you guys, an insight on why MLMs are awful and why you should stop using Monat, okay? As far as homegirl in the comment section, Do your research and educate yourself before leaving a comment, and make sure to run that thing through Grammarly before you leave it on there, because that was just atrocious. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.